One thing that's really piqued my interest as sort of a technology enthusiast over the last several years has been the developments that we've seen in home technology. There have been great strides in making our homes more connected or smarter than ever before. Whether it is controlling your thermostat, turning the lights on or off, streaming music to whatever room of your house, watching the electric meter, seeing video from every angle of your home, we have that ability to do it. And I'll be one to admit, I really enjoy having a home that is considered smart in many respects. That I get to know exactly how much the air conditioning runs, how much energy the water heater is using, and many other things about the home, like seeing how they all connect and go together. It's all about trying to better manage and try to get a snapshot overview of what's going on to see where I can make improvements or what we can do better, how to integrate things more wholly. And yet when it comes to the things that live in our home, how are we as being in sync with one another, especially as human beings, specifically as couples? That in speaking specifically to the human person, how in tune are we with that and with ourselves and with our bodies? That oftentimes we can get the basics down, that we can see how we're hungry, what we want, when we want it, or even how to maintain a healthy regimen. Yet what about when it comes to our spouse and how we interact with them? That certainly we have to understand, and understanding ourselves first, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. That God created us and created us with so many good things and good gifts, and such intelligent design that the human body is certainly a marvel to behold in many ways, just on its own merit. How about though when we consider our intelligent design whenever entering into the relationship of marriage? In certain respects, it seems that it can become something of a more complicated system with more parts. But the reality is that as God has designed male and female as individuals, that He's designed them in such a wonderful way and their bodies that they can serve to complement each other, especially in the sacrament of marriage. Certainly we can understand this in broad strokes up front, but it is also important that we understand how we express love, especially in the conjugal act. That there's this certain beautiful interaction in a couple, but it's one that needs to be especially sensitive to the design that's placed in it, as well as the mystery of the human body. In some respects, we do live in a society that's largely ignorant of the intelligent design of the body, especially in regards to fertility. But maybe it's also more appropriate to say that we live in a society that knows it well, that has seen that intelligent design of the body, that there is a particular gift, especially in giving life to other beings. However, society often wants to stifle that act, that oftentimes there's this desire to block that human life from being formed. So there are all sorts of methods that have been devised to in some way block or to hinder that gift of life. And so that total self-gift becomes something of only a partial or restricted gift from the husband to the wife and vice versa. Yet if I alluded to a smart home earlier, a system that holds a particular understanding of all the parts put together, what about a proper understanding of the function of a body of both a man and a woman, a married couple? Many of you have heard of natural family planning, or NFP as it's known for short. And maybe you've heard of it in passing, or you've heard of it being told to you by someone else. But do we understand what that really is, or what it does for us? Because in short, NFP provides a particular way to understand the human body of both a man and a woman. And it allows them to express love in not only a total way, but also a free way. And it gives a couple an ability to cooperate and to understand God's design. It allows, through a proper understanding, especially through the fertility of a woman, for a couple to make prudent decisions that if a child isn't a feasible addition to the family at that point in time, they can make decisions that work with their intelligent design to make that a reality, that they can make that prudent decision on their own. And this is all done with reverence to that intelligent design, that there's no sort of impeding or blocking of any natural function, but it is in cooperation with what naturally occurs and the functions and the cycles that occur. This doesn't mean that it's only used to avoid pregnancy either. But if the appropriate time to conceive a child is decided upon, it can also be used to help and to create and to support that same thing. In addition, this system helps not only to understand when things are going well and functioning normally, but it can also be it can be understood as a sort of diagnostic tool for when things aren't going well. If there are indications that things are off, that things aren't functioning as they should, there's technology available to the couple to help, especially as it exists in NFP, especially in nanotechnology. That even when things aren't working, especially in achieving a pregnancy, the ability, especially with the NFP model known as the Creighton model, helps to prevent problems and to achieve pregnancy naturally, especially if some particular system or function isn't working correctly for some reason. But why does this all matter? All in all, NFP is here to help serve as a way to understand the human body of a couple of both the husband and the wife. It isn't just some sort of method to simply prevent birth, even though it is on average more effective than any other system of contraception. It is something that allows for a greater understanding of the way that a relationship can work, even on a physical level. It enables communication between a couple in an even more intimate way. As a couple is enabled to discuss fertility in their relationship and their love for one another in a new way. That even in those times when a pregnancy isn't desired, they practice abstinence and they communicate through that. And it instills a sense of reverence to both the body of the man and the body of a woman, that as they work to collaboratively better understand the beauty and the creation that took place in both of them, as they were fearfully and wonderfully made, this can lend itself to a stronger marriage, one that promotes total self-gift, better communication, and a better understanding and collaboration between a husband and a wife. It is also a system of benefit that does not negate or damage the healthy body or the function of it for the man or the woman in any way. Rather, it avoids damage, any chemicals or any procedures that in some way would render that healthy functioning body as something that is broken or something that doesn't work quite right anymore. It works in conjunction with what is already naturally in place, and it helps the couple to become better empowered by understanding their bodies and strengthening their use of this wonderful gift of fertility. So as we are in an age that has become concerned with being connected, with being understanding, with being smart, one is concerned with having a home that is smart and one that is connected. Let's not shortchange ourselves in regards to the design of couples and as individuals, as husband and wife, especially when it comes to the gift of sexuality. Let's rather consider that invitation, not only of the church, but also of God's intelligent design within each of us. That whenever we consider and we understand this design, and the desire not only of the church, but of God's intelligent design within each of us, that we can pursue a strengthened relationship and a stronger family, especially as it's made available to us in NFP. Who knows, maybe in an age that's all about smart things, about being connected, that this is one of the most smart, the most understanding, and the best ways that we can promote a good, a holy marriage and a good and holy and connected family.